Hi guys, Darth Deuce here with another video, and today we're doing another top 10 countdown video, and we're talking Transformers today. More specifically, Transformers Studio Series countdown, my top 10 personal favorite Studio Series figures in my collection. I don't own every Studio Series figure. I do own a fair amount of them, but I haven't gone like completely all in on that on the line, so I don't have every figure. But this is my personal list. I'm not counting down the best, objectively best figures. These are just my personal favorite figures. So moving right into it, just right in front of you here, just 4 honorable mentions. Although pretty much every single Studio Series figure I own, I like to a certain degree. But these are a few just honorable mentions that didn't quite make the list, but were really close. We have the plain alternate mode Shatter, which is really good. Has the much better looking head sculpt and has really good paint. We've got behind her the Voyager Blitzwing, which is a really nice figure. I have a couple of minor issues with, but it's really nice. In front here on the right is actually the very recent deluxe Dino. He was really close to making the list. I was not originally planning to pick up that Dino figure, or Mirage. But I really like it. Both the robot and the vehicle mode is really good. The articulation decent. Sculpt and paint is just really well done. They really did a good job on honestly a pretty minor character. That's only in like one movie. And then behind him is the Sentinel Prime Voyager class figure. I'm really happy to finally have a Sentinel Prime figure in my collection. I don't have the little leader or anything like that, but he's one of my favorite characters from the Bayverse films, and they did a pretty good job on the Voyager. There's some issues mainly for me with the accessories. He should have came with more than just the double-bladed sword, which in itself is kind of lackluster, but overall still a really awesome figure. Anyways, let's move right along with number 10. Alright, so at number 10 we have the Leader Class Blackout from the first movie, which is from the first wave of Leader Class figures we got from the Studio Series. And I really like this figure. I have all of the Decepticons from the first movie. That's the movie from the Bayverse I have the most nostalgia for, and it is my favorite Bayverse movie. And I'm really happy to have all the Decepticons from that team from the first movie. And Blackout's really cool. Leader Class, definitely deserving of that classification. He's bulky, relatively tall, at least because he has this big thing on top. I love the head sculpt on him. I do not like that the hands are the way that they are, and I also wish his accessories were better. He only comes with the one accessory, which is basically just a parts forming thing, so not the best in that regard. And some different other choices, like the panels being on the bottom of the feet for the outside of the helicopter, isn't too good. But still a really awesome figure that I really love having in the collection. And next up is the first movie Studio Series Starscream, which I think again is also one of the first ones they did. And I know it is the first one that I picked up for Studio Series figures. And another really solid figure. I didn't own a version of the Starscream prior to the Studio Series figure, so I'm really happy with this. It's pretty good. Articulation is really great. Sculpt's really good. He has the missile launcher accessory you can put in his hand. I like how that works. The jet mode's really good. My only real problem with him is, aside from he could have came with a couple more accessories, I'm not a huge fan of some of the paint apps. Some of them could have been better, especially the eyes, but aside from that, he's a really solid movie Starscream. And number 8, we have another one of the original 07 movie Decepticon team. We have Brawl, the Voyager class Brawl. Really good figure. Again, another character I've always wanted a figure of pretty much ever since I saw the movie, but I never got any of the deluxes. I never got the Leader class. I always kind of wanted that Leader class. So then the Studio Series came out with a much more accurate looking Brawl that was in scale with the other Studio Series figures. And I had to have him, and he is really good. Paint apps are pretty well done for the most part. Posability is decent, and accessories are good. He's got like the missile launchers on the top. You get the claw thing with the minigun on it, and then you also get the bigger 4-barreled gun, which is really cool. The tag mode also looks really nice. I do have some minor issues. There's things like articulation-wise. I wish he had ankle pivots. And in tank mode, you can't rotate the turret, which are small things, which don't really bother me that much, but they are worth mentioning. But overall, really awesome figure. And at number 7 might be a surprise pick, and maybe of some contention. It is the Voyager Bumblebee Optimus Prime. This is an amazing Optimus Prime figure. I feel like it might be a little on the overhyped side, but it's still really awesome. Great articulation. Both modes are really good. The Robo mode itself has barely any kibble. There's only like the kibble on the forearms, and aside from that, like the back is super clean. Not really painted, but super clean. He has his gun. It's a pretty solid representation from the movie. It's just I don't know. I have the 3-0 deluxe scale non-transforming figure, and that thing looks absolutely amazing. It looks like it jumped right out of the movie, where this kind of doesn't. Obviously, it's two different price points, but I don't know. This one doesn't get me going after I got that one quite as much. Still a really solid Optimus Prime figure. Pretty kind of expensive to get now. Kind of not as easy to obtain, which is unfortunate. But he is really nice. And then at number 6, we have the first of the Studio Series 86 figures I have on this list. Spoiler, there is another one. And for some people, they'd have all the 86 figures on their list, and I have all of them except for Blur, because that one didn't look good to me. But the rest of them are all characters I wanted in the figure form that I didn't have already. And they're all really great, but Hot Rod is probably one of my favorite ones they've done. I didn't have a Hot Rod before. He's, in terms of the look, I'd say near perfect. Articulation's really good. I don't love how they did the shoulder articulation, but it still, moves the way you'd want it to move. Both modes are really great. He has a bunch of accessories and comes with some effect parts, which is awesome. I love that you can flip on the head, that you can do the old opening the helmet and flip the visor up and down, like I'm pretty sure the Masterpiece was the first to do that. And I think that's awesome. Honestly, I'm a little surprised they even implemented that into this figure. But it is a Voyager, and a Voyager class price point, but a deluxe class, more sized figure. So the engineering and the accessories were kind of what bumped up that price. But he's a really awesome Hot Rod. I really don't feel a need to get another Hot Rod. At least not a Hot Rod that isn't Rodimus for the collection after having this guy. And getting down to the top 5, we have another 07 Transformer character, which shouldn't be a surprise at this point. Like I said, it's my favorite one out of all the Bayverse ones. It is the Voyager Megatron, and I know it's a heavy remold of the, remold, I guess you could say, of the Revenge of the Fallen figure, which some people don't like. For me, it doesn't bother me. Megatron in those movies has always been a mess of silver metal, so I don't really notice it. I also don't have that Revenge of the Fallen figures. I didn't like the plain gray, so I really like this figure. At a Voyager class price point, he's pretty big, decently hefty and tall. I love the silver paint. That's what really kind of makes this one of my favorites. With the Revenge of the Fallen one, I think they kind of slacked out on that one and didn't give him the silver paint. But this one looks awesome with the silver paint. The head sculpt's super great. I like the little mace accessory he has. I do wish he came with more accessories, like gun or something, but not a big deal. The vehicle mode's pretty good and actually quite big when you transform him. So yeah, just an awesome figure. Probably one of my favorite Megatrons in the collection, not gonna lie. And at number 4, we have the Revenge of the Fallen Jetfire. I feel like this is a figure that some people are kind of... I feel like this one's kind of an underrated figure. I think some people kind of pass this one over. But this one's a really good figure. Great articulation. Paint apps are really nice. Like, they even painted like the random wires on his arms. The sculpt is amazing, and he's big. Like, he doesn't look tall because I have him hunched over, but if you extend his legs upwards more, and even just the sheer mass of the figure, he's a big figure. Definitely worthy of the leader class. You don't get too many leader classes as big as Jetfire, which is awesome. He has his axe, he has his cane, which is cool. The jet mode is pretty nice, and you can also take him apart and combine him with the later released Optimus Primes, which is also really cool, which I've done before, and it turns out pretty cool. I do like it. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. They did recently remold this guy into that X-Men crossover figure, which I probably won't get unless it goes like stupid on sale. But yeah, I do love this figure, the original use of the mold. Really great. If you, I don't know how easy it is to obtain them now. I never looked into it. But if you don't have them and you click Studio Series stuff, I'd highly recommend picking them up. And at number 3, maybe a controversial pick, but it's my list, so I don't care. I like it. It is the Leader Class Optimus Prime from Dark of the Moon. I know some people maybe weren't happy this was a Leader Class. It is mainly a reuse of the Voyager 07 Prime they did, but some differences in paint apps, a couple minor differences, like the midsection here is different. And of course the accessories. I just think this is my, aside from maybe the Revenge of the Fallen Leader, this is my favorite movie Prime I have. It's just awesome. He has excellent articulation. I think he looks pretty awesome. Paint apps, for the most part, are pretty great, at least on the actual figure. The truck mode's really good, and he comes with all this extra stuff. The trailer turns into the Jetwing backpack, and it also turns into the armory ring, which I think is just super cool that they put that much kind of playability and features into the trailer. Of course, there's some issues. I really hate the hollowness of the wings here. He does come with a bunch of accessories like the gun arms. I do wish these weren't quite so hollow and they went more like over the arm, I guess, if you know what I'm talking about, because they kind of were like engulfed his hand. He didn't like hold them like guns, I guess. He comes with the sword, the axe, the normal gun he has, the shield. Unfortunately, those accessories could use a lot more paint, which is another complaint I have. But even after all those complaints, I still really love this figure. He looks absolutely awesome. And yeah, I really like him. And at number 2, it is another Studio Series 86 figure. It is, of course, Grimlock. The only Grimlock I've had before getting this one has been the Fall of Cybertron figure, and you can see I have his Fall of Cybertron, the Fall of Cybertron sword with this figure, which was a decent figure, but didn't quite do it for me for a Grimlock. But this figure does it for me as a Grimlock. Pure G1, great paint apps, great sculpt. Both modes are awesome and don't require crazy complicated any transformation or anything like that. It's fun to transform them. Both modes are awesome. The dinosaur mode's great. The robot mode's great. Accessories are good for the most part. I do wish he came with his own sword, but he has the gun. He comes with the wheelie. Wheelie kind of sucks, not gonna lie, but if you just have him sitting on his shoulder like that, he's perfectly fine. Articulation's really good. Yeah, there's really not a whole lot wrong. And he's big. He's bulky and he's tall. He's one of the bigger Leader Class figures we've gotten in a while, which I really like. I had to adjust the camera height to get him into the full frame. So, yeah, really like this Grimlock. Not too much else to say about that. And then at number 1, we have the Studio Series Shockwave. And it was actually hard to pick between this and Grimlock, but ultimately I had to go with Shockwave. Shockwave is just a figure. This figure was a figure I wasn't sure we'd ever actually get. A Shockwave, Bayverse Shockwave that looks as accurate as this one does. It's just crazy to me, but it's really awesome. It's even more crazy that it's a heavy remold, again, of the Revenge of the Fallen Megatron. Because you almost wouldn't know it. There's a lot new going on here, and he's just super, super cool. The sculpt is amazing. The paint app's really good. With that's purple brushing going on. Articulation's great. He's got the big cannon, which is awesome. The alternate mode's pretty decent considering he never transformed in the movie. Unfortunately, underwhelming in the movie, but the figure itself is not underwhelming. I really, really like this figure a lot, which is why it is at number 1. Anyways, that's it for the list. Don't want to take up too much more of you guys' time. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let me know what your favorite Studio Series figures are, if you collect these ones. I know not everyone does when they're into Transformers. Some people just stick to the Chug lines, of course, which makes sense if that's what you're into. Yeah, comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Always appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next one.